You are a very key member of the PDP, the People's Democratic Party, one of the top members. Are there differences in ideology between the PDP and the APC, for example?
No, I think our politics in Nigeria is not driven by ideology, not at all. Because if people are principled, and I've said this and people don't like it, if people are principled, if we believe in an ideology of a political party, you won't be changing party as if you are changing your clothes.
Yes.
But it's rather very sad that people who are educated, every day you wake up, this person because I'm unable to win primaries in this party, or I disagree with the president in this party, or I disagree with the governor in this party, I move party. Mm-hmm. It means that our politics is not driven by any form of ideology. There's no principle at all. People just look for where they win election. It's all guided and motivated by how much I can get. For instance, if I discover that I have won election twice in PDP, and I'm not likely to get the primaries to contest again, I will find any reason and say PDP has become a party of corrupt leaders. I cannot associate myself. I'm moving to APC. Yes. Once APC do not give me the ticket, you say this is a party of rogues. Yes. Why should I associate myself with rogues? There's no principle in what we are doing. Yes. And as far as we are operating without any ideology or principle, this country will continue to degenerate.
In the PDP, why does the PDP call the APC the Janja Weed Party? Aren't they trying to say that they are different? Are they sort of a Janja Weed Party?
No, you see, I'm a PDP person, so any more that I can throw any other person to have a leverage over the person, I will do that. But in real sense, there is no strict ideology between the parties. Sure. Yeah, we might be doing things differently. For instance, and I say this, PDP is a party of many people. APC is a party of one man. We know who formed the party.
Who is the person?
No, you and I know who formed the party. You and I know who
just
formed
asking
the party.
The question.
PDP was formed by a group of patriotic Nigerians.
But there are a lot of people that come under the APC banner now, outside of the one man.
This is what I'm saying, but the one man still called the shots.
Okay.
And so that is a party that is operated as if it's a family party.
Yes.
And so it's a party that I don't think have the best.
Therefore, their ideology might be different from the PDP ideology. Therefore, might it then be ganja weed then?
Things might be done differently. Yes. But in terms of ideology, no political party in Nigeria has any ideology.
Yes.
And I know that because, if we have an ideology, people won't be shifting ground. People won't be decamping. Because if I belong to PDP, no matter what happened, I believe in ideology. I don't believe in the political party, but the ideology or the philosophy behind that party. Once you have that principle, you will not shift ground in spite of a little misunderstanding within the organization. But once you don't believe in the ideology or there is none at all, you begin to shift ground at any time. And that is what is happening. That is beginning to manifest in even some of the congresses that are holding. Yes. Because they will just go and write names. For instance, in my state, I learned the leadership just sat someplace and wrote names because there was no witness of anywhere where you see congresses taking place. But in PDP, when we're holding Congress, we televise them, you see them on television, you see people participating, even if we disagree.
You see people participating in the announcement of the results or in the actual voting?
In the actual voting.
Okay.
I don't know whether you witnessed any of the congresses that all we are hearing is that people are disagreeing that names were written in virtually all the states in APC now.
Yes.
There are disagreement and people are moving from the party.
Yes.
That is what I say. There is no principle. If they have principle, the fact that, somebody sat somewhere and wrote names, stay within the system and disagree and make sure that you correct that.
Let me take you a little bit Africa-wide. There's a syndrome that I seem to notice. This sort of ruling party invincibility syndrome. If you look at ruling party in Zimbabwe, in Uganda, in many countries, Cameroon close by here, the ruling party seems to be invincible. Well, what is the reason for? Is it because they are that good? They are so much better than the opposition?
I told you about the African background. We never believe in expression of opinion. And so most of these leaders that you mentioned have been in power for almost 30 years. And so they're coming from that background that as far as we're here, it is us and no any other person. It's not so much invincibility of the ruling party. It is about the individual and then the people who are in that particular political party.
Sure.
And so in those countries, if we take Cameroon, for instance, you knew the circumstances that brought Paul Biya into power. And the other countries you mentioned, if we go to the Gambia, the circumstances in Burkina Faso, the circumstances that brought those people, and Uganda, he came in as a rebel leader and has stayed in. He now realized that if he leaves, because of the circumstances that brought him in, they might exterminate his entire tribe. And so the tendency for them is to try to entrench themselves and then hand over to their children, and their children hand over to their children. With democracy, people being free to express themselves and do things their own way, everything has gone haywire. Under a military system, which is unitary, everything was controlled from top. As a governor of a state, you cannot go and do your own things your own way. Under a democracy, you have governors who can stand and insult their president, and nothing happens to them. So in a normal society, as we've seen, I've never seen anywhere in America where any governor will stand and insult Obama the way they're insulting President Jonathan here, even by governors. And so a young man who is watching us as leaders do that believes that that's the right thing to do. So the distortion of the value system is being entrenched by the action or inactions of leaders. So it is something that we must reflect on and look at ourselves as present crop of leaders, whether what we are doing is right and what we are doing is sustainable and what we are doing will be able to, in the future, help the younger ones who are coming.
You've done quite a good job in Benue State. I'm very aware of definitely the road situation the roads situation in Benue State, the improvements that you've brought to the table there, and how, as you've said, you've worked to bring the people in, because you can have the roads, but if you don't have the right attitudes, they cannot use the roads properly. So I want to look at Benue State now briefly, and to say, what examples can you point to of some of the things that you have done to help to raise the quality of life, the level of living for people in Benue State, that may be replicated in the rest of the country and perhaps throughout Africa?
Well, I assumed office in 2007 and met people who had, negative attitude and were very cynical about government. The reason being that over the years, there were promises that were broken, promises not fulfilled. And so they were not ready to believe that government has anything to offer. And once there is that kind of attitude in the people, no matter what you do, it will not work. And the difference between a developing economy and a developing or non-developing economy is basically infrastructure. And so I started with infrastructure. And I'm happy that today that attitude have changed. Rather now I'm under tremendous pressure. When are you coming to do this infrastructure in our place? You've done it here. Why can't you do it here? I decided to face the rural economy. Because in all fair state, it is because first and foremost, the rural economy was collapsed. Once you have collapsed rural economy in any country, that country is on the way out. And you look at countries who are neighbors here where they are failed, it is because first and foremost the rural economy of those countries had failed at that time. And I saw a situation where the rural economy of Benue was going down. And people were migrating to the semi-urban centers, because what we have in Benue are not urban centers. They are semi-urban centers. People were migrating in droves to those semi-urban centers. And what was the problem? The social problem that's associated with such drift to urban centers. I needed to curtail that. And so I started road construction in rural areas and rural electrification, provisions of boreholes, motorized and all of that.
Your Excellency, as we wind down here, there are just a couple of questions I want to ask you. In You're a trained lawyer, very strong background, came into government. In governance, what have you found to be the most challenging to you in governance?
Well, is like I said, is the attitude of our people.
Yes.
The attitude first, and then funding second.
And what is
the biggest challenge?
And what has been the
first.
most rewarding to you, Your Excellency?
Well, the rewarding experience
Yes.
has been the opportunity that God has given me to serve people. The things that I wouldn't have known, even if I live in the next 200 years,
Yes.
I've known them in just few years. I have played some roles because when we came in 1999, I was the chairman of the House Services Committee,
Yes.
which helped in setting up the National Assembly. We had no accommodation, there were no vehicle, there were no offices. In that position, I was saddled with the responsibility of allocating houses, finding offices for members, and all of that. And I became subsequently chairman of the Appropriation Committee, which deals with the sharing of the of the funds of this country.
Yes.
And so this has given me an opportunity to serve this great country and my state, and
Now,
I feel very rewarded.
As 2015 comes along, where does Honorable Gabriel Siswam see himself in 2015? And then you may want to add that to any final thoughts that you have.
2015, I'm a child of God, and God says that you shouldn't worry about what you will eat tomorrow. Let tomorrow worry for itself. But as a human being, you must make calculations and plan ahead. And so for now, I have a year and about 2 months
Yes.
to exit as governor. I'm concentrating. We are going to start our primaries, given the INEC timetable, by October.
Yes.
I believe that by August, I will decide whether I want to contest election or do something else.
You're still very young, so there's still a lot you can do.
But I'll tell you something.
Yes.
I started to read a PhD while I was in the National Assembly.
Okay.
My intention then was that I will go to the classroom at the end of my tenure. While I was doing that, I got caught up in this governorship thing.
Yes.
I had a year plus left to complete my PhD. I became governor. I went ahead with that, and I was awarded my PhD a few years back. I still romance with the idea of going to the classroom.
Yes.
But August will determine that whether we contest another election or I will go to the classroom. And so I have options. I'm not just a politician who have no option. I have options. I'm a professional.
Yes.
I still have the qualification to go and teach and share my experience with the younger ones. I'm considering all of those options. So everything is on the table.
Your Excellency, Governor Dr. Siswam, I want to thank you. We are proud of you in the great job you're doing in Benue State, and very happy that you took the time to be with us on our show, Magnus Bacco GVA. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.